Okay, my name is Tobias Andersen, and in this video I'm going to show you step by step how you can play any VR game with brain control, which means you can move around by just thinking about it. So for example, if you want to move to the left or to the right, you can do that using brain commands. Basically you're thinking about the movement and you'll move in that direction. And I'm going to use the Emotiv Insight EEG headset and the HTC Vive VR headset. And to make this work, you need to have two tools installed. The first is the OpenVR-InputEmulator by Matspan66, and the other one is, of course, the Emotiv control panel, which includes the Emotiv tool that remaps any brain command that you want to a key on the keyboard. So, first you need to install InputEmulator. You can use the installer here. I used this installer version 1.3. I just install it and that's it. You just need to remember to close SteamVR before you install it. And once you have that installed, you have to go into VR. So I'm going to go into VR now in my favorite game, which is Fallout 4 VR. And if you press the menu button, you should have an icon down here, which is called OpenVR-InputEmulator, besides the desktop and settings. So you go into that one, and here you will have a drop-down menu where you have to select your controller. So in my case, I want to remap the jump button in Fallout 4 VR, which is on the left controller, which is the trigger. So I go down to OpenVR-InputEmulator. I'm going to first check if this is the right controller by using the identify button, and I can feel that the right controller is rumbling, so that's wrong. So I'm going to select number 4. Ah, that's correct. Now I'm going to go into input remapping. I'm going to select axis 1 trigger. I'm going to select normal press and map that to a keyboard button and select spacebar. Save, and go back here. And now I'm going to make a new profile. I'm going to call that Emotiv. Okay. And I'm going to include input remapping. And I'm just going to double check. Yes, it's saved. I'm going to apply that profile. And when I go back into Fallout 4 VR, you need to have the mirror window, which is I'll just show you on the screen here. You need to have this window selected, and if you now try to use the spacebar button, it works. Okay, next step. Go into your You need to go into Apple control panel, and of course do your recordings, and then you need to go into Emotiv and map the key. I'm just going to do this. The key spacebar like this to lift. I'm just going to use lift. You can use whatever command you want. You can even use facial muscles or feelings or whatever. But I would recommend using lift. That's easier. So I'm going to do this. Just disable it for now. So yeah. Yeah. So now I'm thinking about lift, and every time I think about lift, I'm jumping in Fallouts. Let's see. So it's a bit it's a bit hard to start out with, but after a while it gets easier. So as you can see, I don't have my finger on the trigger, no hands. So yeah, and this is of course just with Fallout 4 VR, but you can do the same setup in any VR game. So if you have any suggestions for some games I should try out in VR, where you think brake control would be beneficial, please post them in the comments. And it will be interesting to see what types of research can be done with this setup, because I've seen startups like Neurable last year making a EEG strap for the Vive. But if you have one of these lying around, these are quite old, and a VR headset, you can start developing brain-controlled VR games already now, and you could also do some research on how well that works. And if you want to look at my older videos, I made a video last 2016 on how you can play Minecraft in VR using the same headset I have here. And I also made a video in 2015 on how you can play games on the Oculus DK2 using the same headset. So, yeah. Okay.